So good morning, Steve and Karen, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well, and to your listeners. So you're correct. I think Ireland's value proposition for foreign direct investment is well understood. Internationally, we bring value to those companies, and we bring that through I suppose a few different means. One is first of all in terms of the talent and innovation that happens in Ireland, the ability to access European markets and beyond, and that's so critically important. And indeed the pro-enterprise and stable location that is Ireland. And maybe just to put that in context, if you look at the total FDI exports from Ireland, which is just over 420 billion euros, 85% of that actually is outside of North America. So serving international markets, European markets and world markets outside of North America. So a real gateway, I think, for US companies as we talking this morning in that context, in terms of access to Europe and beyond. And you're correct. We have a very strong and long relationship with the US. Last year we celebrated 100 years of that relationship, and it continues. I think last week, while I was in the US for the weekend in the White House, I think that warmth was very much on display. That connection between our two countries, notwithstanding that there are, I suppose, some clouds on the horizons in terms of the administration's focus on tariffs and the necessity for tariffs, which of course we and the European Union are very much against in terms of a free trade, and indeed of making sure that innovation continues to thrive.
Michael, what do you think? We're looking at this like the rest of us, utterly bemused. Why do you think the CEOs of Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google, who have all had stunningly successful relationships with the Republic and have had vast amounts of profit from the access that Ireland has acted for the European market for those companies, which of course have made their stock prices go up or help them in the US? Well, why do you think those CEOs aren't pointing out to the president the benefit of investment in Ireland?
Well, certainly, first of all, I think, Steve, I believe they are. I believe that conversation is very much stepping forward at this juncture. And in fact, in the package you played just before the segment, the Taoiseach mentioned the CEO of AirCap. In fact, the CEO of AirCap spoke with your colleagues in the US last week to talk directly about what that means for the aviation business and the purchase of aircraft. And I do believe that they are the sort of conversations that are happening and continue to happen, because I think everyone is very much on the one page that the blanket implementation of tariffs are not helpful, I think are very disruptive, and are going to cause, I think, not just economic shocks, but also going to cause inflationary pressure, which will be felt by everyone across every economy. So there will be no winners in a tariff tit for tat war, and I think businesses are really starting to articulate that message as well, both within the US and indeed within Europe. And I think it's also useful. I think last week the Taoiseach in particular mentioned on a number of occasions the importance for dialogue, and I think we need to get more dialogue between the trading blocs and indeed with industry leaders being part of that conversation.
Michael, let's start with whiskey, Irish whiskey in particular, because the 200% tariff that the US is now threatening in response to a retaliatory tariff from Europe could be devastating for Irish whiskey. If it does go into force, what needs to happen domestically to support industries like that are targeted?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Karen, and I think it's proposed, which is the first thing to be conscious of. We will be hopeful that through dialogue and discussion that we can bring that back, or maybe there's a rethink in terms of that tariff. But you're correct. I think all tariffs, irrespective of what industry segment you're dealing with, they will be disruptive if to continue on the trajectory that they're on or proposed to be on. And in that context, I think if you're looking at significant tariffs, it depends on what it is. It will require, I think, a relook in terms of market access, how that can be supported in the market, because ultimately for companies to be successful, they need to have market access and they need to be able to compete in those markets in that context as well. So I think that's going to be a very keen focus for governments around the world as potentially tariffs become a reality over the coming months.
Michael,